Hello and welcome to Trish Rock Inspires podcast and TV show, where you will be inspired by people truly living on purpose and loving life. Perhaps your passion, your purpose, and your empowered self will be sparked into action. Enjoy this episode and please subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Hello and welcome back, or if it's your first time here, welcome. I'm Trish Rock and this is episode 5 of Trish Rock Inspires podcast and TV show. Today I would like to talk to you about perception and really shifting one of your perceptions, and what a massive change just that could make in your life. And the thing is that we're doing that all the time without even knowing it. Every day we change our mind on something. We change our point of view. We change our perception. And with that new point of view, perception, idea, thought, whatever it is you want to call it, comes comes a new kind of way of seeing things, a new way of feeling things, and consequently a new way of being. And different things will shift and your reality will start to show up a little bit differently depending on that perception or point of view that you shifted. So we're doing that all the time. And even from yesterday, there'll be something different about you that you've changed your mind on, or that you think differently on. So if we're doing that all the time on an unconscious level, imagine the power that we have to do that on a conscious level, and really looking at the points of view that we hold, those perceptions that we are running our life from, and those bits in our reality that we want to change. We can't change that with the same point of view of it. So this week I'm running a 5-day Power of Perception challenge in my community. And one of the things that we're going to be doing is deliberately changing one perception that is holding you stuck right now or blocking you from something. So what is that for you? It may be something to really meditate on, or maybe you know straight away. Maybe you just know immediately. Oh yeah, I've been trying to change that thought for a while. Right? Maybe you just know. Maybe you need to contemplate it a little bit. And, a really great way of doing that is, what feels uncomfortable in your life right now? What is it that feels uncomfortable? Because that is coming from a certain perception or a point of view that you can turn around so that you feel more in alignment. So have a little think about that. What is that one thing that is really standing out for you right now? And you may need to come back to the podcast after you've thought about that for a little while, or you could write it down in your journal to really look at later on. But when you know that thing, that perception, that point of view, then the next thing to really do is ask yourself, is it really true? So here's an example. I can't be a public speaker because I'm no good at talking in front of a crowd. Now, that's a perception that someone could hold. What's another one? Oh, I could never write a blog because, I failed writing at school. There's a perception. I'll never find someone who loves me because I've never had that. there's a perception. You know, and the thing is that they feel real, because like in reality it's like, well, it is real, Trish, that's what's happening, and that may be the case, but it's still just a point of view. It's still just your perception of things. So when you find what that is for you, is it really true? Is it really true? Or have you been told that it's true by someone else? Or do you just have the perception or the point of view that it's true? So is it really true? And, you know, here's what happens when we start questioning our thoughts and we start questioning our perspectives. We understand that it is just a thought, and it is just a belief. And a belief is just a thought that we keep thinking. And a perception is just the same. A perception is something we just keep buying into. So, is it true? And you might say to me, well, yes, it is true. I don't think I'll ever find someone who will love me, because I haven't had that. And, you know, it is true. I do get stage fright. I couldn't possibly stand up and talk in front of anybody. But what I want to ask you is, underneath the truth of that, there are beliefs going on, perceptions going on that are not true. Now, the truth is that you can find somebody who loves you, and there probably already is someone. You can stand in front of a crowd and speak, and you've probably already done it. But the way in which that happens is a perception in our heads that, you know, this isn't going to happen this way, so I can't do it. Or someone else has said to you that that's not possible. So you've got that little voice running around in your head as well, saying, oh, you know, well, yeah, look, part of me thinks I could get up and speak in front of a crowd, but yeah, you know what Auntie Betty said to me all those years ago, and right? So we've got these other voices going on that aren't necessarily true. In fact, probably not. So identify your limiting perception. Ask yourself, is it really true? Is it really true? Is there a belief underneath that that really isn't true? What is the belief? What is the perception? And imagine yourself without that belief, just in your mind. Imagine that. Imagine yourself on stage. Imagine yourself with that love. And that opens up, this exercise opens up new possibilities. And when we are in limiting possibilities, we don't look outside those limits. But when you can ask yourself, is that really true? When you can identify a belief or a perception that is holding you stuck, and you say, is that really true? Immediately, you are given all sorts of other possibilities. And there are always infinite possibilities for everything when you expand your perception. Now, if you can imagine life without that perception, that point of view that is holding you stuck, how would that feel? How would that feel? And what would the next step be for you if that was the scenario? What would the next step be? So let's get back to the example of speaking on stage. And I know this isn't going to resonate with everybody, but, take your example and just feel into it. And what would your next natural step be? So if it was this fear of speaking in front of people, what would your next step be? Perhaps you would engage some training, go to a class, join Toastmasters, start doing a video on social media once a week, right? What would your first step be? And then, really taking that step forward, or acknowledging the feelings that are coming up when you think about taking that step forward, and questioning them once again. It's about the awareness and not allowing a certain perception of something to keep recreating the same reality. Because you've got the power to change it. And if we are changing our perceptions all the time without even knowing it, without even doing it on purpose, then imagine the power that you have to change your mind on something deliberately, to make a stand, put a line in the sand and say, I'm not going to live like that anymore. And start with something that is doable. Start with something little to get your trust, to practice that change in perception deliberately, to practice the questioning, to practice the awareness, to practice the trust in the answers that come. And one thing that I do teach, because I have learnt this over the years, is that when you try to change everything at once, nothing changes. It's just too much, because you haven't got a clear focus on the one thing. When it's diluted into all different things, it's too much and nothing changes. So focus on one thing. What's one thing that you really wish you could turn around in your life right now? What is your perception of that thing? Is it really true? And invite all of the infinite possibilities that are out there and available in the ether to come in and spark up your energy and your intuitive gifts and your heart and your curiosity. Because when that is all sparked up and you understand there is more than one possibility, you can shift your reality consciously just through the change of a perception. So ask yourself that this week. Maybe make that the heading in your journal for this week. What perception am I holding on to right now that is keeping me stuck in my reality somehow? And contemplate it. Let the answers come. And then you can deliberately make the changes. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to another inspiring episode of Trish Rock Inspires podcast and TV show. I am a psychic, spiritual guide and a transformation mentor, and you can find me at trishrock.com. You can find all the episodes of Trish Rock TV over on our Facebook page. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please apply for a media kit at trishrock.com. See you next time.